and I just want to support all that has been stated here by my colleague. And indeed, I want to pay tribute to Deputy Brophy in bringing this bill forward, and I'm glad to see our Minister for Arts, Heritage, Regional and Gaelic Affairs is here also, because of course you chair the National Famine Commemoration Committee, which was set up in 2008. And I suppose it has special significance for me, because coming from the town of Strokestown and Roscommon, we have the National Famine Museum. And indeed, Minister, one of the first acts you did as a minister was come to the town. Unfortunately, I was missing, even though you did send me an invitation. And of course, the town has many attributes. We dispute the fact that O'Connell Street has the widest streets in the country. We have at least as wide. But I know that you had a fantastic day there. And we owe a debt of gratitude to Jim Callery and his family. And Mr Callery bought the Strokestown Park House, of course, which was the estate of the Packingham-Mahon family. And I know it's a huge cost involved there, but now the museum is attracting 60,000 people a year to the town. And I would urge everybody in this chamber not alone to bring themselves along at some stage to there, but to bring their families, because still so many people tend to forget what happened during that period, when 2 million of our people immigrated and 1 million people were lost. But how many more people were lost as they tried to immigrate? One of the big projects in Strokestown at the moment is the missing 1490. 1,490 people left the locality. Many were lost en route. Some have been traced now in America and in Canada. And it's an extraordinary story. The amount of people who didn't get to their destination, the amount of people who got there and did well for themselves in the States. So there's a huge story still to be told there. And of course, the Irish Heritage Trust are now in charge in Strokestown for the next 8 or 10 years or so. But out of all this, and by the way, the national event was held in Strokestown in 2014, and it's a spectacular event. It's an extraordinary event. And nobody can explain how wonderful the occasion is. But out of all this, I do believe, considering in today's world that probably one of the biggest problems we have is hunger and people dying from hunger, there's a huge opportunity to have a university in Ireland specifically dealing with the issue of world hunger. And each year in Strokestown we have the International Famine Conference, held in the end of May into the early days of June. And at the moment that is attracting not alone, important figures from across the world, but students from across the world who want to learn more about the great Irish famine. I believe there are a lot of Irish people who don't look back at the famine, and in many respects it is a forgotten part of our history. And when you go to the National Famine Museum in Strokestown and you go through the stories, and it's all there for you, it's just extraordinary. And it's something that's very touching. And I know nowadays a lot of schools go there, and I would encourage more schools, not alone primary schools, but second-level schools, to visit that centre and get the great story. So I very much welcome what you've done here this evening. We, as Deputy Smith has said, fully support you on this side of the House. I think putting this day in its proper place each year is what we can do. But we should never forget what happened to many of the generations gone by, what they suffered, what they went through, and the heartbreak that was brought to many, many families. And it is only right and proper that we would honour those people, think of what happened, think of the great loss of life, and no occasion should be missed in terms of talking about this issue, giving its proper place in Irish history, and developing, the whole area of world hunger, developing why it happens, even in this day and age, when we seem to have so much wealth in many parts of the world, that so many